Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court criminal docket for February 22nd, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube. Mr. Panto, how would you call our first case?
Yes, Judge. Alegre, page 1.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-000-6507. State of Texas versus James Alexander Alegre. Announcement of counsel, please.
Robert King for the state of Texas.
Charles Roberts for the defense.
Good morning, and we are set for a final hearing plea deadline. Although we are now having resumed trials, we do not have panels this week. Ms. King, what's the rec on this one?
Your Honor, it's going to be 12 TDC, but it's likely going to be remain on the jury trial docket.
Okay. Oh, great. We already have our backup. Mr. Roberts?
Yes, I believe it'll be a trial.
Okay, so we're just going to scoot on over. I don't know. I'm loading up Odyssey right now. I don't know that we should have any interim settings. Mr. Roberts, if you need a hearing before that April setting, I know for that trial setting, we do have, wait a minute, is it April 15th, Sandy? I'm sorry, is that what it was?
Yes, ma'am. And then I just have a final judges 310 and a plea deadline 412, ma'am.
Okay, let me ask you all, is there any reason you all would not be able to try it on the April 7th and 8th? The reason being, I do not have, if we're still in COVID protocol, I do not have panels for April 15th. Are you all able to try it or have any conflicts, any issues with witnesses if I bumped it up to April 7th and 8th?
Your Honor, the state doesn't have any issues.
Your Honor, I could, because I have other trials set for that week.
So we're going to move it, since that would be pushing you all up time-wise. We're going to cancel that one, and we are going to move it to May 19th and 20th. That's the next set of dates that I have jury panels for. That is after the actual date that we have set now. So we'll keep that March setting, and then from there, just go to the final hearing plea deadline on May 17th, and then jury trial will be May 19th and 20th.
That would be fine.
Perfect. Okay, we'll get you guys new settings. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Who's actually?
Hey, Judge Alvarez, page 1.
Okay.
It's cause number 2021-000-2640. State of Texas versus Joseph Angel Alvarez. Announcement of counsel, please.
John Briggs for the state of Texas. Your Honor, the state is ready.
Greg Anderson for Mr. Alvarez, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, and your client is in custody. We're set for a status conference. Mr. Anderson, you're good to proceed.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Your client is in custody. We're set for a status conference today. Are you okay without your client being here today?
Yes, I'll waive his presence. We'll waive his presence with your permission, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. So status, how are we doing, gentlemen?
I have received many DVDs and Blu-rays and CDs, and then reviewing them at this point, Your Honor. Still have a way to go. I think, at least from what I understand, we're still waiting for forensic evidence. Is that correct, Mr. Briggs?
Yes.
Some DNA and the like. I think we're still waiting for that. I think as we've discussed previously, it's unlikely we're going to be in position to be able to try it at I think it's an April setting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right?
All righty. Do we have a rec yet, Mr. Briggs?
Judge, I don't think there's going to be a rec. I think we're just going to try this.
Okay.
Judge, I have in my notes that we're set for May 6th trial date. And since we were here last time, I have gotten back a lab report from DPS. Apparently there were stains on the gun that tested presumptively positive for blood. And so now those samples are going to be DNA tested. And so I'm waiting on DNA results from those swabs from the gun. And now that the gun has been processed for blood, it's going to head over to the firearms people over at DPS for them to do the ballistics comparisons. We were waiting on the DNA stuff to be done on the gun first. So now the gun is moving over to the firearm and tool marks people to do the analysis on the projectiles and the casings and whatnot. So that testing is going to be ongoing. So I kind of agree with Mr. Anderson. I don't know if all that's going to be complete by our May 6th trial date. I'm trying to stay on top of DPS to make sure that this stuff is kind of a priority. I don't want to have to go the route of writing the letter that says, you know, that's an emergency, do it. I think if I just squeak and I'm the squeaky wheel, that's good enough. The problem is we end up being behind all of these sex assault cases where they're now legislatively mandated to get that stuff done in 90 days. So everything else at DPS is taking a back seat to that. So I'm trying to just keep us from getting pushed all the way onto the back burner.
Mr. Anderson, hold on, let me ask Mr. Briggs. Mr. Anderson, am I hearing, are you in agreement at this point that you would rather go ahead and cancel that May trial date and move? I mean, we're all the way backed up to November. So I'll take my cue from you.
I think so, Your Honor. I have discussed that with my client, and he's authorizing me to make those decisions. And so I think, yes, I think we're okay with pushing it off the May setting, so as to give us an opportunity to evaluate the DPS findings after they're completed.
So we had, there's one setting, the April 7th setting has that 2801 deadline. I think that's obviously going to be premature. So what we're going to do is this, we're going to go ahead and cancel then the May 6th jury trial, including that May 3rd final hearing plea deadline. I'm going to keep the status of April 7th. That 2801 deadline will no longer correspond to that date. I think we're going to push it back to, let's start with August, and we'll do August 16th. That will be the new 2801 deadline, kind of vis-a-vis our new trial date. That may change depending on what you all let me know before then. And then at that point, I think I'll just have you all come in, August, September, October, every 30 days up into the trial setting. Okay, of course, Mr. Anderson, anything that you want to request a hearing on, same for you, Mr. Briggs, just let us know via email. But I don't want to keep bringing you all in here if things are just in the works. If you all come to an impasse or have an issue with something, then I'll rely on you to let us know, okay?
Your Honor, real quick, you still want to keep that in the morning now?
As long as Mr. Anderson is good with them in the morning, Mr. Anderson, that would mean not having your client present.
I think so, Your Honor, unless he tells me that he wants again to be present for these, and then I'll inform you. But at this point, I think we're okay with him not being present at the hearings.
Okay, just let us know, because it'll just require us getting a 3 o'clock setting rather than the morning setting, okay? All right, gentlemen.
So then did I understand correctly, we're going to cancel the April 7th hearing?
We're going to keep that one, but it's no longer going to be the 2801. It's just going to be a status.
Status conference, okay.
If anything, yeah, just a quick update. And then from there, I think I'll just let you all go until we come in August, okay?
Okay, Judge, I think I'm scheduled to be out of town on April the 7th, but
Okay.
I'll make sure that there's somebody here that can update the court with what's going on.
Sounds good. Thank you
Okay.
very much, gentlemen. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
Sir.
Who's next, Chewy?
Judge Bernal Herrera, page 1 as well.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D03817, State of Texas versus Israel Bernal Herrera. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
February Bobbin for Mr. Bernal. We are ready.
All right, final hearing plea deadline. Ms. King, what's the rec?
Your Honor, right now there is no rec because we are pending 2 P files to be presented to our office. They are unlawful restraint and a violation of bond protective order.
Okay, I have a notation here that those were still outstanding. What's the alleged data incident on those?
They are July 24th, 2021 and July 19th, 2021.
Okay, as to, let's see, he's not in custody. Is he out on, no, he's not out on PR bond. Let me see. Let me check something.
Judge, I have him out on corporate surety with 24-hour.
Do you see, well, no, they haven't been presented yet. Okay, well, let's get this one on a new trial track then. I'm gonna go ahead and use that November, or what's our next regular trial date, Sandy? Is it that August?
It is, ma'am, August 12th.
August 12th, okay. All right, we'll use that one. He's not in custody. So we'll get a new slate of dates. Ms. King, if you can inquire, see if we can get those presented sooner than later, okay? Thank you, Mrs. Bobbin. Thank you, Ms. King. Who's next?
Okay, Judge Falcon, page 3.
Okay, go ahead.
It's cause number 2020-0D01247, State of Texas versus Isidro Falcon Jr. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Greg Pine for the defendant, ready, Your Honor.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline, Ms. King.
Your Honor, I believe this is going to be a jury trial.
Okay, Mr. Pine, are we there as well?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, let's shoot for that May 19th. We don't have a jury panel, Mr. Pine, for us to go ahead and well, let me see. This was specially set for the 25th. We had never added that 24th additional trial setting on this one. Are you ready to go to trial, Mr. Pine?
I mean, I guess we could, sure. I mean, if that's what you want to do, Judge, we'll try it.
Ms. King, how are you?
Your Honor, I believe we need to actually have an outcry hearing. And the reason I haven't requested one is we barely were able to locate the outcry witness.
Okay. So with respect to everything else, though, it's ready to go?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So since it was specially set, let's put it on that May 19th, 20th trial setting. Your client's not in custody, so I don't want to specially set this one per se. I know it's a little bit older, but we may be juggling a few cases, which would include some inmates. How are you with that date, Mr. Pine?
That sounds good, Judge.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so we'll get you a new slate of settings for that date, or just a reset maybe, and maybe a 30-day before final judges. Sandy, we'll do it like that. So y'all don't have to keep coming in. And again, we'll rely on you all to provide us with any hearing requests that you need aside from those. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Ms. King, I'm sorry, I failed to ask, was there a rec on this case?
No, Your Honor, there was not. It was just going to be trial.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Mr. Pine, if you don't have anything else, you are excused.
Thanks a lot, Judge.
Take care.
Yep.
Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Fry on page 3.
Okay, go ahead.
It's cause number 2021-0D02211, State of Texas versus Darren Elvin Fry. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Your Honor, Luis Lopez on behalf of Mr. Darren Fry.
Okay, nice hat, Mr. Lopez. All right, we're here for a status conference. What's going on?
Your Honor, the rec is... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to let the court know that the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, I see what you got going there. Okay.
So
Use your type. Just kidding.
I used the getting hit by a tree branch excuse in front of Judge Gonzalez from CC4, and he said, "Nah, you can't hide a chancla mark."
So what's going on with Mr. Fry? He's not in custody.
No, ma'am. I anticipate this will be a trial.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying that because your trial dates are just so I feel so bad for all of the courts, but this is one that we're gonna have to try.
Okay, Mr. Lopez, this is another one. It's kind of near that May 19th date. can I push you to that one? I mean, I guess we could leave the 6th in the event our COVID protocol goes away. I don't think it's gonna go away. I don't know. So we'll use the May 19th and 20th.
I'm good, Judge. I'll be
All right,
ready.
All right. Anything that requires a hearing, please let us know and be careful. All right.
Most definitely.
If that's everything you have, you're excused.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, Drew, who's next?
Okay, Gallegos, page 3, Judge.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2019-0D05202, State of Texas versus Carlos Alberto Gallegos. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Judge Daniel Mena for the defendant, and he is here present, Judge.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Gallegos.
Hi, how are you, ma'am?
So we're set for a final hearing plea deadline. Ms. King?
Your Honor, I am actually waiting for a P file for a manufacturing and delivering less than 200 grams.
What's the alleged date of offense?
January
14.
2022.
Okay.
January 14, Judge. It was a recent arrest. I was just made aware. And
Okay.
we're asking for an examining trial length, so we'll get that done right away.
Okay, well, it's, we're set on this one for trial this week. It's not going to happen. Mr. Mena, what kind of timetable would you like to kind of work on everything? We can put you in July, we can put you in November, we can put you, I mean.
Judge, I would consider, if you would consider July, that should
Okay.
give us enough time. That's 4 months. That should be plenty of time to get everything wrapped up.
Okay, Ms. King, how about that outstanding case? Do you foresee that taking a minute to get here, or that's where I think my concern is going to be?
Your Honor, I believe we should have it in a month or so.
Okay.
It shouldn't take that long.
Okay, so Sandy, let's use the July 14, 15, please.
Yes, ma'am.
14, 15. All righty. We'll get you a new slate of settings. We'll see. We'll use that. And if that case takes too long, Mr. Mena, we may need to push that back, but we'll go from there. Thank you.
That's fine, Judge. I've got access to my client. We got access. I think Mr. Pantoja indicated there was a couple of no-shows, but we'll keep reporting on Mondays.
Thank you very much.
Or
Take
start
care.
reporting. Thank you, Judge.
Bye-bye. Who's
Bye-bye.
next? G?
Okay, Judge Jimenez, page 4.
Oh, okay. This is our trial. Go ahead, G.
Yes, ma'am. It's cause number 2020-0D01614, State of Texas versus Jose Luis Jimenez. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Jim Darnell for Jose Luis Jimenez. We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, well, now I just pulled it up in Odyssey. We're here for a final hearing plea deadline. Mr. Darnell, you're our trial this week. What's going on?
Well, I need a little bit more time, and the problem is I don't have a way to show him the video of the DWI video, and there are questions about what was said, not what he looked like, but what was said. And that's the problem we're having. I don't know how to show it to him because we can't do face-to-face meetings at the jail.
Your Honor, just for record purposes, I have tried to communicate multiple times with Mr. Jim Darnell with the rec. Last time I called, I believe, was Friday. I did not receive a call back. So as far as the state concerned, we are ready to proceed to trial.
I didn't get a call on Friday. I don't mean to be rude, but I didn't get a call on Friday. And the rec I thought was 10 years.
And I'm still honoring that one.
Okay, because the court had said that was the lowest the court would go. And we're not saying no to the rec. He just has some questions that can only be resolved by looking at the video, and I don't have a way to show it to him.
So they don't allow you to go into the jail with your laptop to show? I mean, I thought that was something that.
You can do that, but this is going to require face-to-face so he can hear it. You wouldn't be able to hear it through the glass, and they don't allow face-to-face visits.
Okay, so there is a just, I'm sure Ms. King is probably looking at it, but there was a motion for continuance filed today. Miss, we have the jury trial setting for Thursday. We do have a backup setting on that April 7th and 8th date. Ms. King, what is your position on the motion for continuance?
Your Honor, the state is ready to proceed to trial, so we will oppose that continuance.
Okay. Mr. No, I can't remember because I think there's a few, and I think maybe you're on a couple, right? You might be, attorney number, 3 or 4, and I feel like Mr. Jimenez is one of them. Or have you been on this one? No, PDs I think was on this one, then someone else.
I've been on this a long time. There was somebody before, but I've been on it for a couple of years, basically through all of COVID.
Oh, okay. I may be getting him confused with someone else. So how quickly could you be available? The court has been open to requests before to have basically utilized court as a space for attorneys to meet face-to-face with their client. How soon could you be available if we could have him transported over here?
You mean like hours or days?
I would think like a 1-day turnaround. I think the jail can accommodate that. I don't think I can get him here today, but I can try and push to get him here tomorrow.
I could do it Wednesday or Thursday, whichever.
Okay. Let's try and do that. I know tomorrow's not monumentally busy. What time would it work for you, Mr. Darnell, so we can start to get to work on that?
I just got a setting, probably any time after about 10 o'clock in the morning. I just got a setting from the 171st for, I think 9 o'clock.
Okay, we can see if we can, Sandy, I'm assuming things here, how accommodating is the jail? If we ask them to be here tomorrow, can they bring him tomorrow?
I know for the most part, Judge, they just prefer the afternoon.
Okay.
But I mean, if I can get them earlier, I can definitely put in that request and they can tell me definitively.
I can do the afternoon too.
Okay, so let's do tomorrow. Mr. Darnell, I think, they don't really count lunches and things like that. I don't know if you want to be here at noon. It would just be, a matter of, I think they can get him here by noon. I think the last gentleman that we had brought over was at noon. If you tell me 1, I think they still kind of bring him over around that time. So he'll be here.
Okay, do you tell me when to be there, or if somebody wants to email me, I can be there whenever you tell me to be there.
Okay, we'll say noon. Just
Okay.
because I think that's when he'll be here, but we'll again get that confirmed. I'm gonna leave the trial setting for now, okay? Is there anything outstanding though, meaning motion to suppress, anything like that?
I don't think there's a motion to suppress. Obviously, there will be a motion in limine, which we would be dealing with.
Okay, all right, let's see what happens tomorrow. We'll get that process going. Sandy, I don't know if it'll be you, but if you can start the email chain that includes Mr. Darnell, Ms. King, Mr. Pantoja, me, that kind of stuff, just to make sure we know what's going on. And maybe that'll help things, Mr. Darnell. I think if Marissa is telling me here, I think you're the 3rd attorney on this case. And I do remember Mr. Jimenez's, I think he can be a handful in terms of kind of steering him in the right direction. So whatever we can do to help you get to a point where you feel you've done your job, then I'm happy to do that, okay?
I appreciate that.
All righty, so let's see if we can get this going. May not work, we'll see what happens. And I'll hold off on the continuance for now.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Mr. Darnell. Who's next, Tree?
Hey, Judge Luna, page 4.
Okay.
It's cause number 2019-0D0-2260, State of Texas versus Manuel Luna. Announcement to council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Alex Walla for Mr. Luna.
Good morning, final hearing plea deadline, Ms. King.
Your Honor, I believe there was the plea paperwork that was sent actually to defense.
Yes, Judge, we had a bit of a delay. Mr. Luna's son died of COVID, so he's been a little, not in a great space. I have an appointment with him today to get the plea paperwork signed. So we're taking the deal. We don't need this on the trial track or anything. He's
Okay.
had that little hiccup.
What we're gonna do then, I think we're headed in that way. It looks like we're not looking at a trial. We're gonna set it for a status in 1 week. And that will be, Alec, if that's, if everything runs smoothly and he's able to do everything fine, then we will be anticipating we'll have our plea paperwork and get you set for a plea that afternoon. If not, we'll be able to discuss and find out a better timetable. If we're not really looking at a trial, I'll work with you on this. So we'll see where we are in a week, okay?
Sounds good. Yeah, this definitely will not be a trial. The deal is exactly what we want. So we'll get off your docket.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Thanks, Judge.
Take care. Bye-bye. Who's next, Chewy?
Hey, Judge, page 5, Mason.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D05444. State of Texas versus Alicia Casanova Mason. Announcement at council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Rosales on behalf of Ms. Mason.
Good
We're ready.
morning. Final hearing plea deadline, Ms. King.
Your Honor, we actually sent the plea paperwork for the 5 deferred with the remaining standard terms and conditions. And I have not received anything back.
How are we doing, Mr. Rosales?
That's true. Ms. King was very good about sending that to me. My client wanted to review the evidence one more time. And so we did that over the last couple of days. She also wanted me to reach out to Interstate Probation to see if she had a good opportunity because she's interested in moving to Florida. And so I had not brought that up to Ms. King because I just did that yesterday. And of course, I had not brought that up to the court. I don't think the court would have any objection to that, but I wanted to bring that up now.
No problem. And I don't know, if that's literally the only issue left, I don't know if there are more specifics that your client needs. If we're really not looking at a trial, Mr. Rosales, whatever you think you might need to square her away, again, either a 1 week status, 2 week status. If not, we can get you set for a plea.
Probably a 2 week status. I just need to talk to her about her chances because you know as well as I do, Your Honor, that I can't guarantee that. So right. I just want to talk to her about that. But in all likelihood, we will be setting this for a plea. If we could just do it in 2 weeks, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll do 2 weeks. Let me ask you this, Mr. Rosales. Do you want a backup trial date?
No, I don't think that's going to be necessary.
Okay.
If anything, it would probably be another status to make further arrangements to potentially stay here or something. So, but this is heading in the direction of a plea. I'm 95 to 99% sure. So I'm gonna put it to you that way.
All right. 2 weeks. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ms. King. Sorry I didn't get back to you.
Thank you. It's okay.
Nice seeing you.
Who's next, Julie?
Hey, Judge, page 6, Mills.
Okay, go ahead.
It's cause number 2021-0D02641. State of Texas versus Philip Daniel Mills. Announcement to council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Edie Payan on behalf of Mr. Mills.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, I was just looking for it on Odyssey. Okay, so I know we had some question internally anyway, Ms. Payan. Our collective recollection is that you all were okay with having your client's presence waived. If not, please let me know.
No, Your Honor, I did have some communication with your bailiff last week. He very cordially reached out to me. I think this is where we were at.
Okay.
For these status hearings, we're okay with it. And as the court recalls, the additional factor would be for the jail, for him to be present from the jail. We had also filed that motion for him to be changed out. So to not impose too much on the annex, but if we do need something in which we will need our client present, we will definitely give the court enough leeway for that afternoon time. But right, thank you. And aside from that, I think we're okay. I don't know if you want an update or I'm getting ahead of the court.
No, we're here for a status. I think we have a 2801 deadline, but it's not a deadline. I think that's our initial, and then we had gone through some more dates. I do see a 2801 deadline for April, but we have a lot of settings. So how are we doing?
Your Honor, so with regard, yes, it's a deadline, but not a deadline. There are some motions, obviously, I know we're probably gonna need to file there was a voluntary statement of the accused, so obviously that will be coming. I think we're just waiting to get everything organized. We have been working with the state, Ms. King, Mr. Flores, Ms. Hill. We were able to arrange, we were able to go to the crime scene with the defense. So we've had access to that. And I don't know the update. I did check in with Mr. Flores Thursday or Friday, losing track of Monday being the holiday. I do know that there are still some items that were sent off to DPS that I won't speak to, but I'm assuming we're waiting on DPS lab reports.
Yes, Your Honor, we are still waiting on that.
Okay.
We're making progress, Judge. I've been listening all morning. The court knows how these things go with DPS, but the state and the defense have been trying to do what we can to keep this going.
Okay, any reason we won't be coming back until April 7th? So I'm okay if I'm not hearing any real problems right now. It's just a matter of, working through a lot of these things. I do have concerns about the May 6th trial date, because I know that's one for right now that I do not have panels. I don't know if that'll change or not, but we may need to be looking at that because our backup date is in October. Maybe the October date is the realistic setting. And if that's the case, what I would like to do is eliminate that May setting as just a status conference, but I need to make sure you are both in agreement with that. Ms. Bayan?
Your Honor, I am fine with that. I kind of think that's what I was assuming would happen. And I think with all the work that is still pending,
okay.
I just don't see that May date being realistic. So I'd hate for the court to have us on the docket and take up space.
So what we're going to do is this. We're going to remove, with the agreement of counsel, the May 6th jury trial. We're going to leave the May 3rd setting as a status conference. And then we'll go based off of that October trial setting. Let's do an August 16th. That will be the final judges conference and 2801 deadline. I hope that will fit better into kind of, everything that's going on now, give you all the opportunity to file. Obviously, you don't need to wait till then. If you need a hearing on something, request it. But we'll have that be our deadline, looking at that trial setting. And then everybody's going to light a candle that our COVID protocol will be gone and we can.
And Judge, just in terms of your court, and so for the 2801s, is that the filing deadline or the day we would have to have the actual hearing?
It's the filing deadline. So it still gives us a window to squeeze in hearings. Okay.
Okay, so if we do need, if we are going to have a contested motion to suppress the voluntary statement of the accused, we would have it sometime between August and October. That would work for the court?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to be clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, and then the April date, we'll keep the April date, Sandy.
Okay.
And that'll just be a status.
Sure, and I'll go ahead and let the court know, since it's a morning, I think we're fine with the morning hearing again, as we're doing today.
Yeah, best thing, Ms. Bayan, if for whatever reason, you reach a point where you're like, no, wait a minute, client needs to be there, just shoot us an email ahead of time so we can get him squared away, with, maybe like the Thursday or Friday before, so we can let the jail know to have him available.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, may be excused.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge, signs on page 7.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D03333, State of Texas versus Itati Signs. Announcement of council, please.
Baba King for the state of Texas.
Justin Underwood for Miss Signs. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, and I do see Miss Sines appearing remotely as well. Final hearing plea deadline, why does her name sound familiar? Were we working this out? With
We
like-
are, Judge. She owes, I believe she needs to take a 1-day class, which should be pretty easy. She also, she's going to do that and pay full restitution up front, which she tells my office she will have paid in full by this Friday.
Wow.
So with those two things resolved, the offer is a dismissal. So obviously we're absolutely inclined to take that.
Okay, so we're good. Ms. Sines, thank you for appearing today. I'm gonna give, she'll have 30 days. Ms. Sines, it sounds like you're on top of things, so just follow through. I'm gonna give you a reset for 30 days out. Doesn't sound like we're gonna need it, so hopefully that's what we're doing. Thank you all.
Yes, Judge. And just for information, she has paid some of the restitution. We're just waiting for the balance to be paid off.
Perfect. A lot better than a lot of folks, Ms. Sines, so thank you very much. All right, guys, if that's all you have, good to go.
Mr. Underwood has one other one, Judge.
I have one more, Judge.
Who is it?
Bradford on page 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2021-0D02671. State of Texas versus Lance Kindle Bradford. Announcement of council, please.
Barbara King for the state of Texas.
Justin Underwood for Mr. Bradford, Judge. We're ready.
Okay, status conference, what's going on?
Ms. King, or Mrs. King, I should say. I had my staff email you a packet on Mr. Bradford this morning. His background, he's one of the most decorated military people I've ever encountered, give or take. He's got, I think, 5 deployments. He's also the recipient of the Bronze Star and a Purple Heart, and has no criminal history, and has a very different version of what happened compared to the CW, except for the fact that the CW in this case continues to chase my client off of the freeway after my client displays a handgun at him to back him off from running him off. It's a road rage incident. It's what it is. My client shot a concrete barrier to scare the guy off. It did not scare him off, and he came after him, exited the freeway, and the guy who is, quote, in fear for my life, chased him off the freeway, pulled up beside him again, and challenged him to a fist fight outside the vehicle. My client took off. And so I sent all that stuff via email to you, Mrs. King, for you to review. I don't know anything about your complainant, but I can tell you that my client I have zero problem having him talk to anybody at any time about anything involving this matter.
And Mr. Underwood, I did just receive your email actually with that attachment, so I'll go ahead and review it and change my rec accordingly if I do.
Thank you. So Judge, I think we just keep our trial dates, but I did go ahead and send that over. Like I said, I've represented lots of people who have a Purple Heart, and I've represented a couple who have the Bronze Star. This is the first time I've represented someone who has both.
Mr. Underwood, I'm looking at the trial setting. In the event this isn't worked out, can I move that trial date back a week? It's set for May 13th.
Sure.
Okay, let's do that, because if we need to get there, if there is no agreement, then I want to have.
I'm sorry, Judge, that's not Memorial Day though, is it right?
19th, no, it's the week before. So it's going to be a Thursday and a Friday. I feel like you all aren't going to get there, but I want to make sure if we have a trial date, that it's a viable one.
Sure.
So we're going to bump that back, Sandy, 1 week, the final hearing plea deadline and the trial setting.
I would imagine Mrs. King and I will chat more about this in the future.
I feel confident you will. So thank you all.
Thank you. May I be excused?
You may.
Thank you, Judge. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, Judge Gonzalez on page 3. It's cause number 2021-0D00742. State of Texas versus Claudio Gonzalez. Announcement of council, please.
Barbara King for the state of Texas.
John Williams for Claudio Gonzalez. We're ready, Runner.
And this is a final hearing plea deadline, Ms. King.
Your honors, I'm just leaving the rec for 10 deferred.
You know, if you can revisit that, Ms. King, the complaining witness was just picked up for possession. So he's got a case pending in the 243rd. Miss Mendiola, who is one of the co-actors who was really responsible for this whole mess, got 8 deferred. And she also had an assault on a PO. The other three co-defendants all have other charges. My guy is just like a 19-year-old kid who was along with his brother's, his girlfriend's older brother, who is the Cain Alvarez guy, and he was in the military and has some other stuff going on, but he's really the least culpable. So I'll call you on this one.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let me ask Mr. Williams, anything outstanding that would require a hearing if we were going to trial?
No, Judge.
Okay. So let's put this, I'm actually just going to reset the final hearing plea deadline for 30 days.
That's perfect.
And I'm not attaching a trial date to it though, because we're really limited. If we're not at an agreement, then I'll give you all a trial date. Your client's not in custody. So.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Can I be excused?
You may. Thank you.
Thanks.
Who's next, Shui?
Okay, Hilliard on page 3, Judge.
Oh, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Cause number 2019-0D0-0815, State of Texas versus James Edward Hilliard. Announcement to council, please.
Robert King for the state of Texas.
Good morning, Honor. Good morning, Ms. King. Daniel Marquez on behalf of Mr. Hilliard.
Okay, so we're at a status conference, but this one, okay, it is specially set for March 17th and 18th. And this is the gentleman, this is the one that involves a lot of out-of-town witnesses and whatnot. So how are we doing?
I'll defer to you, Ms. King, unless you want me to.
Well, let me ask, what's the rec?
Your Honor, there is, at this point, it's just going to be a jury trial. I did receive an email from Mr. Marcus. He did speak to his witnesses, and I believe that they were available. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Marcus. We're available for May. What else? Was it April as well?
April, probably not the trial settings for April, Your Honor. I'm going to be in a court martial in the middle of April here at Fort Bliss. However, May, the first 3 weeks of June, the last 2 weeks of July and August, my out-of-town witnesses are available.
Okay, wait, so we kind of jumped something. Are you telling me that nobody's ready for March 17th and 18th?
Well, I am, Your Honor, but in the last status that we had last week, I believe Ms. King indicated that the sole complaining witness in the case may not be available in March. And so that's why we agreed to discuss backup dates with the court today if trial could not go next month. However, the defense is ready, prepared.
Okay, this is what I would like to see then. Ms. King, if what I'm basically hearing is this is kind of a state's motion for continuance. I know we've had a lot of, there's been a lot of complications scheduling because of just everything. COVID, witnesses, everything. But it was specially set. So if you are asking for a continuance, please formalize that with a motion. And if what I'm hearing is, Mr. Marcus, you are not opposed to that, please indicate that as well. If what I need to know is an agreement between the two of you on dates. Let me put this in the mix, which is when we actually have panels. Okay, I've got panels May 19th and 20th, July 14th and 15th. So I didn't hear those, what you said about your witness availability, Mr. Marcus, to totally align with that. Know that I'm gonna have to start. I thought I was real good at the end of 2021, planning out 6 months of trials and getting my settings, and then they bumped us up again. And so that messed everything up. But I anticipate acquiring a few more settings. Jury panels. What I mean is jury panels. Mr. Marcus, will you tell me, you said latter July, and then what did you say, August?
Yes, August, Your Honor, the whole month. Does the court have anything in August?
I didn't go beyond August, but we're in February, so it's probably time. time for me to go back and start making some more requests. Let me just quickly take a look. Yeah. Calendar. Okay. August. Oops. Oh, look, we have some nice. Alrighty. Okay, Chewy, we're gonna need to go ahead and put in requests. There's a lot of availability in August. For August 11th and 12th. Yeah, that's what we'll do for now. August 11th and 12th.
Yes, sir.
And that'll be the same thing, 2 panels per day. Commissioner's Court. Okay, let me write those down. Hopefully we can get them. All right. So I'm not telling you right now, Mr. Marcus, you're not hearing confirmation, but we will be submitting requests for those dates.
That was 11th through 12th, Your Honor?
The 11th and 12th. So that'll be 4 panels of 57 unless something changes in Commissioner's Court. Now let me go back to what we have here. Okay, so we'll get the motion for continuance. We have that March 15 final hearing plea deadline. We should by that date have confirmation on those August dates. So we will revisit the motion for continuance and prospective dates, any issues that relate to that in terms of a reset. But I'm hearing we're not going on the 17th and 18th. So
On March 15th, Your Honor?
yes, March 15th is what our next setting. That's the final hearing plea deadline.
Okay.
So, okay. All righty.
Yes, Your Honor, and I'll touch base. Ms. King, will you be available after the court docket this morning? I can give you a call. I'm going to be driving to Sierra Blanca, so I'll have some time to discuss.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Your Honor,
all.
Thank you. Have a good day. Good to see everybody. Be safe.
You all. Who's next, Chewy?
Hey, Judge, if I may, Mr. Ray, is that your client on the iPhone?
Forgive me, I'm not sure.
Okay, to the gentleman on the iPhone, can I get your name, sir?
Carlos Rodriguez.
That's him, sir. Okay, Judge Rodriguez on page 8.
Okay. Give me 1 second, please.
Yeah.
Alrighty, go ahead, Chewy. Sorry.
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2018-0D04880. State of Texas versus Carlos Antonio Rodriguez. Announcement to council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
James Ray on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
Good morning, and Mr. Rodriguez is appearing remotely as well. We are scheduled for a motion for early discharge. Mr. Ray, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I believe the motion for early discharge is not quite ripe. Your Honor, I've since learned that Mr. Rodriguez does have a substantial amount of outstanding fees that still need to be paid. And so we've addressed that. However, Mr. Rodriguez has recently gained employment that is outside of the county. Now, he's been granted in the recent days a permission to travel, but I believe that permission to travel was limited for just a brief period of time, maybe just a few days. And we were hoping the court and the state would consider allowing him to enjoy this opportunity for employment that is outside of El Paso, and perhaps faithfully complete his terms and conditions and continue under supervision, albeit maintaining this opportunity for employment that is outside of El Paso.
Okay, so I'm looking at the travel permit and it was for just for an interview. Is he now being employed in Odessa? What is the situation?
Mr. Rodriguez, can you answer that question for us?
And yeah, there you go.
Yes, so where I was gonna go make the application, that one didn't, I came to another one where I was referred to. But I am gonna get hired. They're just finishing up the paperwork, Your Honor.
Okay. Look, okay, so if we're gonna hold off on the motion for early termination, then Mr. Ray will rely on you to notify the court when you want a hearing on that. In terms of any type of travel permission, Carla, so probation is aware. Certainly not trying to hamstring you, Mr. Rodriguez, in terms of trying to get get a job and get professionally squared away. So as long as you are providing documentation to probation regarding whether it's an in-person interview that you need to go to, or if you get a job and you provide probation with the proof of employment and your scheduling, I do not have any problem with you traveling for work purposes and for remaining if this is in Odessa or somewhere else. At some point, there may be another solution to it. Like if it's more long-term, I don't know where you're going to be residing, things like that. But if it's for any work purpose that is proof is provided to probation, those will be granted. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty. Ms. Pineda, are we having any issues? I didn't get to read the entire report.
No, Your Honor, everything is, he's complied and completed most of the court's requirements as far as his conditions of probation. The only thing that's lacking are his probation fees, which he is behind with.
Is he at $60 or $25?
He was at 60, Judge. He was asked to provide documentation so that they can, the officer could conduct the financial evaluation for him, but it hasn't been provided. That's it as of right now. He is under the domestic violence caseload, intensive probation. The recommendation at this time is for him, if he would be allowed to transfer to a field office for a regular supervision instead of the intensive supervision.
So we're going to do this. I did see that recommendation. Let's go ahead and modify a couple of things. He's clearly, if he's not employed right now, I can't imagine that he's, doing extremely well financially. So we're going to modify the probation fees will be retroactively reduced to $25 a month. And so that should go a very good way to eliminating some of that delinquent balance. And then we will also change the supervision. It says here, please consider transfer to field office. So we'll do that as well, Carla, and then see how he does from there, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you for the consideration with the reduction in
Absolutely.
fees retroactively, especially.
Yeah, it's tough times.
Yes,
Rodriguez, stay on track. Good luck. Get employment, but keep your probation officer informed, okay? I don't want to be hearing, all of a sudden that you start traveling all over the place and we can't justify why we're doing that, okay? All right.
No, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate you, Your Honor.
Sure. Thank you. If you need anything else from us, let us know, okay, Mr. Ray?
Will do, Your Honor. Thank you for your time this morning. And thank you, counsel.
Thank you.
Who's
May we
next?
be excused, Your Honor.
You may. Be safe. Who's next, Tree?
Hey, Judge Morales on page 8.
Okay.
It's cause number 2018-0D06520. State of Texas versus Jesus Manuel Morales. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Every Bobbin for Mr. Morales, we are ready to proceed.
Was Mr. Morales supposed to be here? Is he here? He's in jail. Oh, hello. Yeah, we're at a revocation. Okay. Let me look at this report. I'm sorry. I was thinking again, once I saw you, Missy Baba, I'm not trying to get rid of you. I'm totally happy that you're here. But I was like, I just remembered Mr. Gabaldon went to PDs. I just saw that on Facebook. He totally wouldn't know about any of our cases. All right, let me read the report here. extend and have him under the, what was the issue? What was the issue with Mr. Morales? Had we talked about him? We had to have talked about him recently. No?
Your Honor, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
we had a hearing back in January of this year. He's been in custody since December 8th, 2021. He's in custody, Judge, on the motion to adjudicate cases. There's an initial MTR was filed back on March 16, 2020. It was amended as of October 19, 2021. The first initial MTR was filed due to, I believe, like 5 or 6 burglary of habitation rearrests misdemeanors out of CCR 4, which do have a plea date of March 1st, 2022 in CCR 4. The amended motion was to include a federal arrest, a federal charge from July 2020, and leaving El Paso County. Unfortunately, I don't have any details as far as the federal charge. I know it was for transporting illegal aliens, but I don't have like an update or disposition or anything of that sort as of right now. And as far as his probation, Your Honor, it was a 3-year deferred, and he is set to expire July 22nd, 2022.
Okay.
On our case.
What is happening with the misdemeanors? Is he getting probation or is he doing time?
Judge, it's my understanding that he's supposed to get probation to run concurrent with this one. We're still waiting for the actual terms, I believe. And I know Ms. Martin emailed the ADA and CCR 4 a follow-up this morning about it because they set it, CCR 4 set it for a plea next Tuesday, the 1st. And I know the only holdup really is the restitution amounts on all the burglary vehicles. So
Is it
that's
a lot of restitution, Ro?
Your Honor, I have a note from April that the batteries were around $100 each. So let's see. I believe there was 4 missing batteries. So we're looking maybe at 400, and then there was also some other stuff like 2 truck push bars, 225 and a 150. I would assume maybe around 1,000 total, but I can be wrong.
Had you gotten a confirmation, Missy Bobbin, on what the outstanding restitution was?
I have not, Your Honor. I was waiting to hear from Mr. Jacob. I think it's Reynolds is his last name.
Jacob Reynolds, yes.
Oh, is that the gentleman who tried the loot case in here? Okay. But the recommendation is that he be extended and modified to be placed in into a gang unit.
And that is my understanding, Your Honor, that he is on board with the extension and the modification. My question coming into this hearing was just, will that be done as soon as he pleads next week, or how did the court want to proceed on that? Just so we can make sure we wrap him up.
Okay, so it's set next week. We'll do we'll do it like that. So once he takes care of the misdemeanors, we'll go ahead and extend him. We'll extend him. I really don't want to, when was he placed on probation? 2019? And he picked up, were his only issues, Carla, the fact that I think we start missing him. If this is the client now that I'm remembering of Julia's, he was in custody somewhere else, so we lost him. He wasn't necessarily not reporting, he was just getting picked up on other cases, and then we have all the burglaries. All right, so.
We do have, as of July 2020, we do have him as not reporting to the department, but there is a time where, at that same time where he was arrested in federal custody out of El Paso. So we don't have, probation doesn't have the information as far as to, I guess, relate the exact dates of if he failed to report or not, and what dates he was under federal custody or not, or if he's been in federal custody this entire time.
And Your Honor,
So,
if I may,
yes, ma'am.
I can go ahead and look into the federal charge and see. I don't know if that would-
For me, it's not necessary. I think I know where I am. We'll extend him for 1 year. We'll modify him into the gang unit. Whatever restitution is outstanding, I don't know if we had any, let me look. Whatever restitution is outstanding, no, there was none here. He's at $60. So we're gonna reduce his probation fees. My thought is we reduce his probation fees again, retroactive, to $25. We're going to go ahead and leave everything else the same, but the restitution in the misdemeanor cases will be added to his felony probation as a condition here to make sure he pays that off. We're going to extend it for a year. My thought is, Missy Bobbin, if he's going to come out and not do, be a problem child, we should know it pretty quick. I don't think it's going to take a long time. If he turns around and starts picking up cases, then I think we all know where we're headed on this one. So, yeah, we'll just, we'll reset the rebel for 2 weeks and we'll make sure everything got squared away on the misdemeanor. And then Carla, if we are, then just have those mods ready to go. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All righty.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Chewy. Anyone
Yes, Judge.
left?
I'm sorry, we have two remaining cases, Judge. And I was on the phone with Mr. Mondragon's office, and then I was about ready to call Mr. Veith. But other than that, there's no other